fans from wherever you are, all around the world, welcome to our humble MPJ new rock album review show with my wonderful panel, to Lauren, to Trish, to William, and to Dom. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
So poor old William is struggling with a cold, but he's soldiered on, and Simon is on his way back from his holidays in Japan, but he has obviously voted. If you're new to the show, we review all the latest rock albums, rate them out of 5, and see if they get to our Hall of Fame, and will they get to our album of the year. We just finished last year where Nothing More Carnal was the album of the year, and a fantastic album that was, but in a hard-fought contest. What will this year bring up? Will we be hitting off with a bang? Who knows what the journey will bring? Will an album finally get the famous 5 from 5, which has never been done? Future Palace was so close last year with a 4.9. And, well, we're going to start off with an absolute banger, because we are reviewing today Linkin Park and their album From Zero. If you want to know more about Linkin Park, you can read the bio on the chat below. But obviously, they have a new lineup, which they announced, and they have a new singer that replaced Chester in the form of a female artist, which is Emily Armstrong. Now, I suppose the only real contention here is whether she's a lead singer or joint singer along with Mike Shinoda. Let's go and find out then first. Dom, are you a Linkin Park fan? Is Linkin Park been something that's been in your catalogue all these years?
Yeah, I mean they're in everybody's catalogue. Surely there's a little bit of Linkin Park in there somewhere. Early days, it's kind of like my era. I was when they started up. I was a young adult back in those days. Do you remember that, Nigel? Do you remember those days?
No.
When we were young?
No,
long
I don't remember that day, but they're too far gone for me. Yes, of course. I mean, it was only a decade ago when I was 21, so I just grade a bit of it.
Exactly, but Chester Bennington, he died like 7 years ago. So yeah, new vocalist Emily, and she's got a fantastic voice. Let's just get that out of the way. I think her voice is great, fits in really well, but it gives a kind of a really different feel to Linkin Park for me. It feels like a new thing. So I wondered, there's a little bit of me, and I've seen a little bit of stuff in the media saying, should they have renamed themselves? Should they have put Linkin Park to bed and then started as a new band? But I think this has got enough of that old school vibe to keep Linkin Park fans really engaged with it. Even if they might feel they're having to build a new relationship with it. That's kind of how I felt a little bit, kind of building a new relationship. Emptiness Machine, Heavy as the Crown, Two-Faced, fantastic tracks in there. And Two-Faced, that was the really nostalgic one for me. There's a little bit of kind of drag in there, a little bit of, average, I thought. I think the album title is just perfect. It's From Zero is perfect title. They've got themselves off the ground. They've started from zero. They're moving on, but I think they've still got a way to go.
Ooh, okay. Interesting take. Yes, Lauren, do you look back or do you look forward like me? And this was Linkin Park very much in your wheelhouse?
If it wasn't, then I'd argue that I've been doing rock music wrong. Because it's just one of those things where I so distinctly remember having Kerrang TV on. The parents have gone out. You're allowed to listen to what you want to listen to. No Elvis or anything on the hi-fi system. Mum and Dad have gone, here you go. So I'm like, oh, let's branch out. I know what I like, but I want to try something different. So on you flick, and you put on Kerrang radio or Kerrang TV, and up comes this band. And wow, it helped open my world up when it came to rock and that alternative sound. And I just couldn't be more pleased when I saw them coming back on the scene. I had my vibe before where I was that level of unsure. because of course Chester was such a huge part of the band, and God rest him, he did so much good work with helping sort of be the voice of a community for that sort of people who loved that sound and who had those feelings that they just wanted to get out through music. So, like I said, I had my little bits of apprehension, but then listening to this album, they just totally washed that away, which I was so happy about. It's made its way thoroughly into my personal playlists, where I will listen to it over and over again. From Zero is anything but a zero for me. It was fantastic. It was a melding of the old and the new sort of era of Linkin Park. It had great levels and sound. I love it. And even the lyrics of some of it, absolutely fantastic. Like, if you're listening to like Stained and you hear some of the lyrics that are in that, like, you pretend you're spotless but I won't wash away. Oh my god, what a set of lyrics. But yeah, I could go on for hours about this album. I just really loved it. The last thing I'll say about it is with Good Things Go at the end, the fact that the end of that song loops into the start of the album, I love how that encourages you to just play it over and over and over again, and that's something I'll definitely be doing. Top tier album for me.
Okay, Trish, Linkin Park, what did it do for you? I can't imagine you headbanging to Linkin Park before this journey started, or was that, or had you?
What a fantastic album, I have to start by saying. And the reason for this is I was never really into Linkin Park or listened to an album of theirs. I was only ever aware of them from the airplay on the radio with iconic tracks that they had, which I did like. I know there is the whole thing about Linkin Park coming back with music, having a female vocalist. But for me, I was listening to this album as if I was listening to a new band's album, so not comparing anything to the old Linkin Park. They have put together a track list of hit you in the face, this is who we are, so take this. I love the harmonisation of the female and male vocals individually and when merged. They're mixed with perfectly placed screamo, not in an over-empowering way. The depth of the music on some of the tracks is mesmerising. Cut the Bridge, what a bloody catchy sing-along chorus, and has been my favourite track on the album if I had to choose one. And it reminded me of Dominum's chorus on the track Immortalis Dominum from Hey Living People album. It's a very clever album. It just sweeps you along as you're listening to it, and before you know, abruptly realise it has ended and leaves you wanting to hit play again. Sheer poetry of lyrics, vocals and music. I absolutely love.
Now, somebody who we love, and I know loves Linkin Park, and we shall we should keep it brief because of his sore throat. But the show must go on, William. Let's hear your thoughts on. I know you're a massive fan of Linkin Park. Did this disappoint, or did the journey continue for you?
I may be very poorly, but it will not stop me attempting to talk about one of my all-time favourite bands. I adore Linkin Park almost more than any other band in this world. Despite words I said in our last couple shows, this was my top album last year. It is absolutely spectacular. It's essentially a love letter to all the Linkin Park that came before, because all the songs sort of call back to all their past albums. They've got songs like Casualty, which is very Hybrid Theory, the pure screaming, shouting the whole time. Good Things Go is very much, One Last Light, and it sort of calls back to all these parts of Linkin Park's history in one album, and it's absolutely spectacular. And I cannot express how glad I am that Linkin Park have carried on, because, ultimately, why wouldn't they? Chester, before his passing, spoke loads about how Linkin Park as a band was bigger than any one member of that band, so he obviously wanted Linkin Park to be able to carry on. From Zero comes from, I think, the fact that the original name for Linkin Park was Zero before they started their current band name, so it's from their beginning, it's like a new rebirth, so they've come from Zero, which is where they started to what they are now. And this is absolutely spectacular. I absolutely adore everything in this album. It is
And what did you think
true
about
masterpiece.
Emily Armstrong and her singing?
She is absolutely spectacular and has her own unique sound. It is, it's contrary to what, to put it as impolitely as possible, idiots on the internet say. They were obviously never trying to replace Chester as a vocalist. They're trying to just get someone new in, but not replace, which is partly why they went for a female vocalist, because if people saw them going for another male vocalist, they'd be like, oh, they're just trying to get Chester, but someone else again.
Yeah.
Because it's a new singer. It's different enough to not be like, oh, they're just forgetting about this. It's a more unique sound, so they can carry on with what they were trying to do.
Yeah, okay.
It's
really good.
Mind-blowingly good.
I get that. I wasn't a huge fan of Linkin Park, to be perfectly honest with you. I found it a bit too screamo. There were some good songs that I turned there with, but I didn't listen to an album because my perception was it was just really too metalcore for me. So I never really kind of got into them and thought maybe they were overrated. So that was my feeling kind of going into this. So I certainly didn't kind of listen to their previous albums. This was really fresh for me, and I have to say I'm blown away. Absolutely blown away, because everything I say about an album that crosses genres and doesn't go down the metalcore rabbit hole too much, and a lot of it accentuated. This had everything. This ticked every one of my boxes. So I do like a little bit of metalcore, but I like a bit of rock and roll, and I like a bit of hip hop in there now and again. And this ticked all the boxes. And everybody said, "Oh, Emily Armstrong's the new lead singer." No way is she the new lead singer. It's a beautiful combination between her and Mike Shinoda. They dovetail with their vocals to sublimely brilliant. It just is absolutely fantastic. It is such a great album, and why reviewing it this year, by the way, is because it was released like right at the end of the year, so which is spilled over to this year, which is the way that we kind of do things. But wow, my very first album of the year that I listened to was this, and I'm going like, how can we? And we do this every year. Surely it can't get better than last year, because last year's albums were absolutely fantastic. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! And we're going to come on to the next album. My first two albums of the year that I've listened to are going to be up there, I think, fighting for my album of the year. Wow, 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 wow! What an album! In particular, there's a couple of tracks that I absolutely adored. The Emptiness Machine and Over Each Other for my first two records on my cool playlist for 2025. Absolutely terrific. Wow. However, right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Will Linkin Park get into a Hall of Fame? I have a funny feeling they will, but how well will they do? Now, our best rated album of all time is Future Past with 4.9. We've never had the 5-5. So there's 6 votes. So one will always get dropped because it's, will somebody get the 5-5s? Let's find out, shall we? Lauren, we'll go around the screen as people can see us. I'm going to go with Lauren first. Lauren, what did you give Linkin Park?
An easy 5.
I'm going to follow that up with a 5. Trish?
It was an easy 5.
William?
The third easiest 5 I've ever given.
Wow! So hold on, with 2 to go, we have 4 5s. So there's Dom and Simon to go. Dom, let's hit it. Come on, Dom. Let's get that 5 out of 5. Let's do it, Dom. 4. Yeah, you're on mute, Dom. You're not getting away with it. We're gonna hear you say it, Dom. He can't say it, He can't say it.
I can't. I went 4.
4
Sorry, guys.
From Dom. 4. Oh no. There's still hope, everybody. There is still hope. Will Simon, who is a Linkin Park fan, we know how much he's loved Linkin Park in the past. Will he make it a 5 and the first ever 5 out of 5 and top of our all-time favourite albums? It's hit the Hall of Fame, of course it has. Simon, live from Japan. Well, not live, but on his plane back from Japan, who can't be with us today. Well, what do you think, William? Do you think he'd give it the 5? You don't think so?
No.
Well, of course he didn't. Of course he didn't. The rat bag. He give it a 3.5. I know, right? I know. Shock of shocks.
Me and Simon are always very similar in our opinions and our votes. I liked it more than he did, clearly.
And I apologise, Will, when I said you had to be on the show, because when I got the votes, I duplicated your votes for his votes, and I thought they had got 5 out of 5, but they didn't. Anyway, so Linkin Park 23, 4.8. It's our top album of the year so far. It's our second highest rated album of all time. We're coming up to 500 albums now reviewed over the years. So, wow, what a start to the year, everybody. What a start. What a blindly good album. It's going to take a lot of beating for the rest of the year, isn't it? Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much to my wonderful panel. Keep on rocking. Check out Linkin Park. Hey, and if you wouldn't mind hitting that like and subscribe button for us, that would be ace. Or leave a comment below. Do you agree? Let us know, please. Hit a comment, hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you very much. Goodbye for now, everybody.
Bye.